Wasim. Welcome back to my channel Wagon Picks. Hope you are all doing great. We are into the 8th tutorial of this JavaScript series, and topic of this tutorial is scope, hosting and reassignments of a variable. Okay, so we have seen in earlier tutorial the basics of variables. We have seen where, let and const. So in this tutorial, we will be mainly looking at the differences between these variables and when to use these variables. So I have already said, and topic which we will be covering in this tutorial are scope, hosting and reassignment of all the three var, let and const variables. Okay, so I have told you earlier that var is outdated. We will no longer be using var, but still I have taken this in this tutorial just to make sure that if you come across any older code where they have used var, just to give you an overview how var works. Okay, so to start with, I already have a code over here. Okay, so this is the code, and what I will do is first we will see with we'll see scope. Okay, scope of var variable. So when I declare a variable inside a function, so that cannot be accessed outside the function. Okay, what that means is, I'll quickly, we'll take a function over here. Function, let us name this as check, and I have defined a variable. Let's take the variable as x equal to, let's store 10 in this. Okay, so what this point says is, if I have declared a variable inside a function and below the function I'm just calling this I need to call this function to execute. Okay, and I'm printing this inside the function only. So now what will happen when I run the code? The function will be called, and inside the function a variable will be declared, and 10 will be stored in this variable, and we will be printing that value. Okay, so we are accessing the variable inside the function only. So let's see how this works. Yes, we are able to access the value that is expected. But what if I will remove this console from the inside function, and I will try to print it outside the function? Let us take it below the call. Okay, now what should happen when the code runs? The function is called. Okay, when the function is called, inside the function I am declaring this variable. Okay, but I am printing this outside the variable. So by this I am checking whether I can access this declared variable outside the function or not. Okay, so see here, we cannot access the function outside, we cannot access the variable outside the function. This is what the point 1 says. Okay, variable declared with var are functional scope. This means they are functional scope. If a variable is declared outside of any function, it becomes global. So what do I mean by global is, if suppose you have declared this outside, you mean, what I mean by is outside, on top of the code, and I'm trying to access this anywhere inside the code. So I'm trying to access this inside the function, and we'll type function x. Okay, let us try to print this outside the function as well. Outside the function, and also let us take a if statement. Let us and this below. Let us also take a if statement. If we have a condition true, and I want to print it inside. Statement. Okay, so what I have done, I have declared this variable outside, and I'm trying to access this variable inside of function and also outside a function and also inside this if statement. So let us see if I am able to access this. So I'm able to access this variable at all the three locations where I have defined. Okay, so this was all about the var uh, scope. And now let us see how a let or const behaves. So while declare about the scope, let and const behave in a similar manner. So let us see the first point. Variable declared with let are blocked scope. This means they are only accessible within the block in which they are declared. So what this means is, I will remove this. Okay, I will take this let. Okay, I have defined this. Okay, blocked space. Let us see the point first. Okay, I want to define if I have this true. Okay, and I have declared this inside this blocked space. So blocked space is something when you have something written in the curly brackets. This if statement is the blocked space. Similarly, if we have function, that also comes under a blocked space, or if you have any loop, that also comes in blocked space. So if a variable is defined inside this blocked space and I am trying to access this variable inside this blocked space, console.log. So I will be able to access this because this is inside the function. So I was able to access. So now if I am trying to access this outside the if statement, so any guesses, will this work? Let's see. No, it will not work because this is blocked space. As we read, variable declared with let are blocked space. This can only be accessed inside the if statement, and this holds true for function as well, or for or loop statements. But if I have declared this outside in general space, what I call, so in this scenario, x becomes global. You can access this anywhere in if statement, in function, anywhere you can access this. Let's see in inside a if statement. So here you will be able to access this inside if statement. Okay, this is true. So next is let has more predictable and safer scoping behavior compared to var. As we discussed, var is outdated. So wherever you want to use var, you can replace that with let. But as I said earlier, in some older codes which were uh, pre-ECMAScript version, in those cases we might come across var. So that is why we covered this var topic. So we have seen the scope of let. Similarly, we can also declare const. Let and const behave similarly, except at certain situations. I will point that out. So similarly, if I am defining this, sorry, const x. Okay, I have defined the const and stored 10 value in this, and I'm trying to access this inside if. Okay, see here, if I this works similar to let. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the next point. Next point is hoisting. So variable declared with var are hoisted to the top of their scope during the compilation phase. This means you can use the variable before it's declared in the code. So what happens is, we have this if statement, and suppose I declare var x is equal to 15. Okay, and I'm trying to access this before if statement, like at the beginning. Before initialization or before declaration, if I'm using the variable, then what will happen? Let's see. Okay, see here, we didn't got any error, we got undefined. Okay, so when you use var x is equal to 15, we have already defined a space for it, and initialization happens at this step, but a variable will be declared. Okay, variable will be declared at the time of uh, code mounting, you can say. Okay, at the time of compilation, you can say. And this does not hold true to let. Okay, so let is block space, anyhow it is block space. If I am trying to access outside, it will not work. But what if I have declared here outside this if, but before declaring I have used it somewhere? So let us make this let, and I am trying to print it here. So what will happen in this situation? Let us see. So here we got uncaught references. So this is an error. We cannot, in let and const, you cannot use this variable before initialization. Okay, so this was about the hoisting. Okay, and the last point which we will see is reassignment. Okay, var allows for reassignment of values, and it does not enforce constant values. What this means is, if you have declared a variable and you have assigned some value and you want to change that value, you can do that. In var allows that to do. Okay, so for example, now var y equal to 20. Okay, and you have declared this value and you are reassigning the value of y. You are printing it here. Okay, and I'm changing the value of y to 30. Okay, and then I'm printing it here. Now what happens is, I have already declared and assigned a variable, assign a value for this variable, and I'm printing that value. So 20 will be printed. What if I will change the value? So in this case, what happens is, the value will be reassigned. So this holds true for let as well. Okay, if I just change the variable type, so will this holds true? Yes, this holds true for let as well. But if I make this const, will this hold true for const? Let's see. No. So for const, you can only declare and assign once, and once a value is stored in const, you cannot change that. But in var and let, you can change. So that is what is the last point. Constant declaration are variable that cannot be reassigned after its initial assignment. Okay, so once it is defined, it is fixed. So finally, a const variable must be initialized during the declaration, otherwise it will result in an error. So this is the point which is to be noted. So in const, the assignment or initialization should be done at the time of declaration. So here you cannot use it like this. Okay, const y, I have declared a variable and then I'm assigning a value to this. So this is not permitted in const case. Okay, for const, you when you define, when you declare a variable, at the same time you need to initialize it as well. Okay, so this is how var, let and const behave, and this is what the difference is. So basically when you have a situation where you want to define a constant globally which can be used, which should not be changed, at that case you can use const variable. if, if you have situation where you want to, you come across a scenario where you want to change the value of your variable, at that time you can use let and just ignore the var. Do not use var, we that is outdated. Okay, so this was all about the hosting hoisting and scope and reassignment. So hope you got the points. Let me know if you have any issues, and please do like and share my videos and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching and have a great day.